posted some screenshots on my Instagram celebrating that I renewed or nearly renewed many of my statuses this year. And I got a lot of questions asking, how? In today's tutorial, we're uncovering how to get top-tier statuses with brands like Marriott, Hyatt, American Airlines, and many other programs. Even if you don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars or spend dozens of nights in a hotel room every year. So let's jump right in, starting with Marriott. All right, so how many nights do I have with Marriott? To find the answer to that, when you log into Marriott, it should say up here how many points you have and how many nights you have. Just go ahead and click that. And then when you see how many nights you have, you can click details. And Marriott's actually my favorite for this type of summary where it says, congratulations, you've renewed Titanium Elite because you got more than 75 nights for this calendar year. Now, I definitely did not stay 76 nights at a Marriott this year. It'll actually show you how many nights you actually stayed. So I only stayed 23 nights. I paid for 21 of them and I redeemed 2 of them with points or free night certificates. And then 53 of those I either got through the Marriott credit card or through a promo. So you can see the vast majority of my elite nights out of the 76, 40 of them actually just came through from credit cards. I have 2 different Marriott credit cards. I have the Marriott Bonvoy business card, so I'm getting some free nights out of that. I get 15 from having this card in my wallet. And then I also get 25 from having the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant American Express card. And between those 2 different credit cards, I get 40 nights already taken care of for any elite nights I need for status. So 40 out of the 76 came from credit cards and then 13 were from a promo. Marriott does something similar to this at the beginning of every year where they will do a double night promo. So in the beginning of 2023, this one was from February through April, where any stays completed during this date range would count for 2 elite nights each. So if we look at my Marriott activity, you can actually see the activity history, and then we can filter to hotel stays in the last year. And let's look for anything that took place between February 7 and April 23rd. So here we spent some time in Arizona. That's 5 nights. That actually counted for 10. We spent a night in New York. That 1 night counts for 2 elite nights, and then some nights in Italy as well. So we got 13 promotional nights just from that bonus as well, which brings our total to 76 nights. For all of these different hotel stays where we actually paid money instead of points, we spent a total of about $5,000, which Marriott makes it pretty easy to see this as well, where it'll show you your total qualified spend. So spending $5,000 plus $125 plus $650 in annual fees for the 2 credit cards is not bad for getting Titanium status, given that we do stay quite a few nights with Marriott, 23 nights so far, and then we'll stay a few more before the end of the year. So we'll call it 25 or 26 nights where we're getting upgrades to different rooms and then free breakfast for me and my husband plus a welcome gift. So that's how I'm getting my Marriott Titanium status without having to stay a whole bunch of Marriott nights and spending, we'll call it a little bit more than $6,000 between the credit card annual fees and just the fees that we paid for staying at different hotels in order to acquire this status. Are you enjoying these types of videos? If yes, please let me know. Click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for even more points and miles tips every week. Also, let me know in the comments which airline or hotel status you would be most interested in. One of the most popular statuses in the points and miles world is Hyatt. So up next, we are going to cover how I'm renewing my globalist status this year and how a ton of people were able to fast track their status as well since they didn't have to stay 60 different nights with Hyatt. Here's the play. Okay, so how am I getting my Hyatt nights this year? Let's click on my name and then past stays. And then from here, click on account activity. We're gonna put on some filters where it's just filtered on 2023 and then filter the type on stay. And then once we're here, go ahead and expand all of these. I wish there was a button to do all of this at once. But each of these will show how many qualifying nights and qualifying spend we had with each of the Hyatt stays this past year. Okay, so as you can see, I do stay quite a bit at different Hyatt hotels. Let's count them up. 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. Add all of these up for you. is going to be a total of 49 nights, which is quite a bit with Hyatt. Most people are not staying 50 nights at a Hyatt. And if I add up the total spend for all of them too, you can see that some of them are $0, like this Hyatt House, Chicago, Naperville. I just used points for this one. Same with Manchester Grand Hyatt. I used a couple of free night certificates, but some of them I am paying money, whether it's a very low rate like this Alila in Kuala Lumpur, or a higher rate like this Grand Hyatt in Denver for our Points and Miles meetup, where I spent more than $1,100. But something you have to keep in mind as well is, for me, a lot of these are business expenses, and that is not the case with most people who are trying to get Hyatt status. All in all, the qualifying spend comes out to about $8,292, and that's for 49 nights. However, there was a much faster way to get to Globalist if you don't actually stay that much at Hyatt. Promotions like this pop up every so often. They usually do it every year or maybe every other year. And this year, Bilt partnered with Hyatt to fast track you to Explorer status or Globalist status. They were just giving out Explorer status. All you had to do was download the Bilt app, click a button, and then you would be enrolled with Explorer status. And you could also keep Explorer status by staying 10 nights in 90 days, or you could stay 20 nights in 90 days and get Globalist status all the way through 2025. And those 90 days were between April 17 and July 16. So if we look at my ledger over here, that would be the checkout day. So this one actually did count with the Hyatt Regency JFK Airport, where I stayed 1 night here, 2 nights in Washington, D.C., 2 nights in Puerto Rico for a speaking gig, 1 night at another Puerto Rico hotel. We hung out in Philly for a while for 8 nights. This is the bulk of the cost. I did just pay money for this as well. It was $2,400 to just hang out in Philly over a few days in May. We had a positioning flight in LAX, and then I had 2 nights in Atlanta for a speaking gig, 3 nights at the Alila Ventana Big Sur, where we used points for that one because that was going to be $2,000 or $3,000 per night. And so if I add up all of these, that got me to the 20 nights anyway. So even if I didn't stay 49 nights with Hyatt, I would still have Globalist status just from enrolling in this Bilt promo, which, in case you're wondering how pretty much everybody and their mom seems to have Globalist status these days, a lot of it was through this Bilt promotion, where people signed up and were able to fast track their way to Globalist with this. This Bilt promo did end quite a while ago, but different promos like this will pop up all the time. For example, there was a Founders Card promo where you could do something very similar. Founders Card isn't really a credit card. It's more like a membership card where you pay them a membership fee and you get access to all different kinds of discounts and promotions. So you could do the same thing where you would stay with Hyatt Globalist, you would register through Founders Card, stay 20 nights in 90 days, and then you would get to keep your Globalist status. That one is pretty much expired as well. And then there are just a few days left for this one, where if you have American Airlines status, you can also status match over to Hyatt. That one is ending November 30th, so if you're able to watch this video right away, you might still be able to jump on that, but it is a very similar deal where if you complete 20 tier qualifying nights during the Explorers period, then you will get status, but still just through February 2025. So those are some different ways that people have been able to fast track their way into Hyatt Globalist so that they can get perks like free breakfast, suite upgrades upon availability, late checkout, early check-in, guest of honor benefits where you can make reservations for other people and they're treated like they have Globalist status as well. You don't have to stay as many nights as I do. I will probably actually hit 60 nights by the end of the year, but it's easy to do even when you're only staying 20 nights or so in a 90-day period. And for all of this, like I mentioned, for the entire year so far, I've spent about $8,300, but for just that 20-night promo, if I did some kind of mattress run and I only counted the money spent during that promotional period with Bilt, that still comes out to about $4,500, mostly because of this Philadelphia hotel. For me, it is worth it because I do travel so much with Hyatt, but for a lot of people, if you're only going to get 1 or 2 stays outside of the promotional period, definitely would not recommend spending $2,000 or $3,000 just to get free breakfast for a few other stays. Sometimes throughout the year, if you do the math, oftentimes it is cheaper for you to just buy breakfast at the hotel. A lot of people will chase status and do mattress runs because they only need 20 nights, but I do not recommend
spending thousands of dollars just to get these perks if you do not travel that much anyway.
Having a Hyatt credit card can also accelerate your Hyatt status. By having the personal World of Hyatt card in your wallet, you automatically knock 5 elite nights off of the requirement to get status. And like I mentioned in the first tutorial, I'm able to use the Marriott Bonvoy Business Card and Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant Card to fast track my Marriott Bonvoy status each year as well. If you're in the market for a new card to earn more points or status, but you're not sure what card to get, we offer free credit card consultations at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We'll send you personalized recommendations based on your personalized goals, budget, and lifestyle. Or if you already know what card you want next, and you'd like to support this show when you apply for your next card, we have all of our affiliate links listed on geobreezetravel.com/cards, which you can also find in the description box. Our next tutorials are about how I was able to fast track a couple more statuses through some limited time promotions, even though I only stayed 1 night or 0 nights with those hotel chains.
Okay, how did I get to IHG Diamond status this year? Well, last year there was an easy link for how to get top tier IHG status, where all you had to do was click this link for the Straight to Diamond promotion page. You would enter this code and then you would get top tier Diamond status. And then that would go through the end of 2022. But people also found out that if you signed up for Intercontinental Ambassador, this would extend your Diamond status through December 2023. So that's what I did. Clearly, I don't use this very much. I have stayed 1 night at IHG this year. It was at the Hotel Indigo Corso Monforte in Milan, which was fantastic. But I haven't really used my Diamond benefits at all. So obviously I'm a far cry from reaching the 70 nights required for Diamond. I have been told that some people, when they renew their ambassador status, it gets extended again through 2024. IHG has some technical difficulties quite often because, one, they gave away Diamond status to a whole bunch of people using this employee code that I am not an employee of for whoever this was supposed to be for. So a whole bunch of people on the internet jumped on that, including me. I'm not sure if they meant to extend all of our Diamond statuses through the end of 2023 with Intercontinental, but now the technical issue is that when I try to renew, they're not processing my payment on any of my credit cards, so I will report back on what I find. If it gets extended again through 2024, I'm just gonna pay the $200 in the name of science so that we can all find out if this works or not, but still TBD because their ambassador page is not accepting any of my credit cards for whatever reason. But that is a super short story of how I got to be a Diamond Elite member for this year, and unfortunately only used it once at the Hotel Indigo Corso Monforte, where we did get an upgrade to a junior suite and we did get free breakfast, which was fantastic. But unfortunately, I just didn't stay with IHG very much this year at all. Maybe more next year. If you think that this is completely ridiculous that I have top tier status with IHG and I've only stayed 1 night this year, I promise you it gets even more shameless because I have top tier status with Wyndham as well. I have Diamond status with them and I have 0 points and I have stayed 0 nights this year. And I think I have stayed 0 nights the past 4 years. I've maybe stayed 1 night at a Ramada or something out of necessity. And the only reason I have this status is because way back in the day, it was so easy to just status match anything to Wyndham, and then I would status match from there over to Caesars Rewards so that I could get my free $100 celebration dinner with Caesars. And I have just been status matching back and forth every year between Wyndham and Caesars, which some people are saying works for them, some people are saying doesn't. The most reliable way, if you want to get that to work, is to get the Wyndham Rewards Earner Business Card, which is a $95 annual fee. We talk about this a little bit more in the Las Vegas video. Basically, you can get this business card for $95, status match over to Caesars, get a $100 dinner, so the card pays for itself just from that, but then you would also get free parking and a free stay at the Bahamas and a lot of other fun perks with Caesars. So that is a really easy way to get top tier status with another couple hotel chains as well.
Our last walkthrough covers how I'm renewing my American Airlines Executive Platinum status this year without putting $200,000 on a credit card or spending tens of thousands of dollars on American Airlines flights. If you're interested in leveling up your points and miles game and getting more free trips and upgrades, we have a couple of options for you. The first one is the GeoBreeze Travel Patreon, which you can join starting at only $5 per month through patreon.com/geobreezetravel. Each month, we prepare personalized step-by-step tutorials for the exact routes our members request. We also provide open forum group coaching, where you can ask any questions that you have about points, miles, credit cards, flights, hotels, and anything else on your mind. And if you're looking to get even more free travel with points, and you're a business owner or individual who spends more than $100,000 per year on expenses, we typically save our clients $30,000 to $60,000 in travel in the first 6 to 12 months of working with our one-on-one points portfolio management service. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, book a free intro chat with us at geobreezetravel.com/intro call to learn more. Okay, here is how I am renewing my American Airlines Executive Platinum status for this coming year.
All right, how did I renew my American Airlines Executive Platinum status for this year without spending $200,000 on a co-branded credit card and without flying that much? There was a promotion earlier this year called the Instant Status Pass. And what this did was it broke up the different milestones into thirds throughout the year. So between November of last year through March of 2023, I had to earn 67,000 loyalty points. Then I had to earn another 67,000 by July of 2023, and then I had to earn the rest of it to get to 200,000 points in total by the end of November 2023. And as you can see, I am 99% of the way there. I've only got about 2,000 more to go, which is going to be pretty easy. This also made it easy in that I would only need to do 67,000 at a time, and then I would automatically get Executive Platinum, which would carry me over into the next period. And that helps because when you have Executive Platinum status, you already get some bonus points. You get a lot of bonus points. Instead of earning just 5 points per dollar or 6 points per dollar, you're actually earning 11 points per dollar. So once you have Executive Platinum, it's a lot easier to renew Executive Platinum. So you can see on my activity, we filter this from the beginning of the year until now. There's a lot of different ways that I earned points and miles. And then for anything where I was actually flying, like here's a ticket between Washington, D.C. and Asheville, North Carolina, I would get a lot of bonus miles. The bonus miles would actually be worth more than just the base miles for my flight. So by having Executive Platinum, it's kind of one of those things where like the rich get richer because it's easy to maintain once you have it. But most of my points weren't really earned through actual flights. You'll see a lot of the points here. These are small, but it'll say Hyatt dual accrual. You can actually link your Hyatt and American Airlines account so that every time you stay at Hyatt hotels, you are going to earn some American Airlines miles, and every time you fly on American Airlines, you're going to earn some Hyatt points for that flight. So that makes it pretty easy for me to renew Globalist and also to renew Executive Platinum because those two accounts will just kind of double dip off of each other. So that's one thing that helps. Another thing that helps is I booked some hotels through Rocket Miles. So there were a couple of conferences I attended this year where it was at Sonesta or something where I didn't have any status. Rather than booking it directly through a hotel, I would book it through Rocket Miles. I would select that I wanted to earn American Airlines miles instead of hotel points. And then, as you can see from there, I was able to get a pretty easy 27,000 miles just off of that booking, which is pretty great. I do have a co-branded American Airlines credit card as well that we put a bit of spend on this year, so 65,000 miles right there. The sign-up bonus, however, doesn't count for loyalty points, which is a little bit annoying. This was the sign-up bonus that I got, but just regular expenses will count, so I think this one was a deal where I got 65,000 miles if I spent at least $4,000. So I would get the 4,000 loyalty points from the amount I spent on the card, but not for the sign-up bonus. So the credit card did help a little bit as well. But what really helped wasn't necessarily flights, and it wasn't necessarily all the Rocket Miles bookings. While those were helpful, as you can see near the end of the period, I was a bit short, so I did a few shopping trips on the American Airlines shopping portal. And with a shopping portal, you can easily earn quite a few points and miles without spending that much money. Like for example, here's the Wall Street Journal. And with this offer, I think I paid them $8 and I got 1,000 miles there, so that's not bad at all. Here's a Blue Apron offer where you could earn 5,000 miles for signing up with Blue Apron and then canceling your order later. I signed up for the Motley Fool back when this was an elevated offer. I think I got 6,200 miles just for maybe $50 or something for stock tips that I'm not really ever going to use. If you are going to sign up for things like this, make sure that you have a separate email address that you are sending all of this to, because they will send you so much junk mail. So I have a separate email address where I send all of these different promotional offers that I sign up for, so that I get the miles, and I have an email that has probably, I kid you not, 10,000 unread emails. But just going through all of these different stores and finding the ones where it's some kind of subscription where you can get a few thousand miles just by signing up once, and it'll post in 1 to 2 days in your American Airlines account, and then cancel the subscription after a couple weeks. That can be a way to rack up a lot of miles, especially at the end if you're like me and you're like, oh, I gotta get some loyalty points here. So here's an 8,000 point offer, here's a 1,300, a 1,300, and a 2,600. That is how I was able to rack up a lot of miles and maintain my executive platinum for the upcoming year. As far as the flights actually go, I wish this just had a summary page of how much I actually spent on flights, but it did not. So what I had to do was take these base miles and then divide it by 10 for each of these different flights that I took. If somebody knows of an easier way to just summarize how much I actually spent with American Airlines this year, and there's just a button that I'm missing somewhere on the site, please let me know in the comments. But what I did was I went through all of the different flights that I took, calculated the base miles, divided by 5, because that's how much money was spent in order to procure these flights, popped them into an Excel sheet. So looks like this year I took about 15 American Airlines flights, and I spent about $4,500 on flights, which is not bad considering that I got upgraded, I would say probably 60% of the time, into domestic first class, where they have really good catering. I like the pasta dishes that they often have. Sometimes they'll have short rib with polenta. They have really good snacks. Again, would not recommend chasing status. Definitely don't get the co-branded credit card and then put $200,000 on it just to earn 200,000 loyalty points. That is not the way to play the game, because your cost-benefit analysis at that point cannot possibly be working out in your favor. But if you do fly quite often and you want to take advantage of some of these different strategies and promos in order to get American Airlines status, then make sure that you are linking up your Hyatt and American Airlines accounts. Maybe do a couple bookings through Rocket Miles, get a co-branded credit card, and check out some of the promos on the American Airlines shopping portal. And then once you get executive platinum status, it's pretty easy to renew that status each year, because you are going to be getting a lot more bonus miles.
I hope you found those tutorials useful. Suggestions for future topics are always welcome. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, I think you will enjoy this video next.